All right, hello, welcome. This is your GM in the Great Barrier, broadcasting from the center of your entertainment galaxy, and we are coming back with another episode or another session of Star Trek Adventures Aegis, um, our 22nd century game set in the during the events of the fourth season of Enterprise thus far. Um, we are back with part four of our current episode, and we are just going to jump right in with a quick little recap for those that might have taken a moment from the last episode. Our crew had arrived in orbit of Terra Nova some ways back, the humanity's first extrasolar colony. They'd been delivering some supplies. Along the way, they picked up a Vulcan gentleman who's been regarded with a bit of suspicion, partly because he was being chased by a Tandaran interceptor, and otherwise people are just not exactly certain of what to make of him. He's maybe not said everything that would be most ideal in the circumstances that he's in. Um, to be fair, some of that's dice rolls. Anyway, um,
We know what you are, you fucking fuck.
Whatever
anyway,
do you mean? I'm an officer and a gentleman.
Romulan.
nice. Anyway, um, in either case, the uh, when you arrived at the colony, things became a bit complicated, largely due to the fact that the your communications are presently unavailable between ship to shore. There is some sort of phenomena in the atmosphere caused by some sort of radiation that is creating a scattering effect for any comm signal. It's making sensor scans more difficult, and it has made transporter use virtually impossible. Um, as a result, you have a shuttle team led by Lieutenant Shera and including Lieutenant Commander Romanov, Dr. Lambeth, uh, supporting characters we had just established as Ensign Stewart from the Sciences Division and Chief Willie D. Justice, our everyone's favorite new pilot character. Um, But that team had made it to the surface where they discovered it seemed that there was a very depleted settlement on the surface, and that it further seems to be, it seemed to be the surviving colonists who had been engaged in a struggle with the Novans. The away team attempted to follow a Novan attack that occurred on the settlement with the help of the sole surviving Mako on the colony. But when you engaged the Makos, when you engaged the Novans, after some time where there was a bit of distrust built up between you and the senior most Mako, Shera, you made an effort to incapacitate him and discovered that he was in fact a Suliban in disguise, which has very disturbing implications. The Novans are still uncertain of what to make of you, but they elected to essentially take two of your crew, Stewart and Dr. Lambeth, which you had agreed to, and they basically took them so that they could bring them back to their leadership and try to work out exactly what was going on. Um, while all of this happened, um, the situation in orbit got a bit more complicated as well. The Tandarans came back in force, and thus created a circumstance um, where the Aegis had to retreat, although they dropped off an additional group of Makos in order to help support the ground team. While you were hoping that they might come after you since you had Saral on board, that turned out to not be the case. Instead, the Tandarans remained in orbit over Terra Nova and forced you, Colonel, to basically gather up a small flotilla consisting of another Daedalus class vessel, the Level, who returned your chief science officer, and a small intrepid type cruiser, the Republic, which I believe we'd established that you are now all on a course back to the ship, or back to the system. Um, so, with all of that happening, the members of the away team that went with the Novans learned exactly who was helping them coordinate on this and discovered that the human governor and the actual Mako that individual that they had encountered earlier, or rather their true version, were helping to coordinate the Novan resistance and possibly still other humans. Although there's a strong implication that the make or that some of them appear to have been either killed, abducted. It's very uncertain at this point. But with all of that said, there are a few people that are still not aware of that fate and don't have a big picture idea of everything that's going on between the atmosphere cutting everything off and the lack of communication from the cave group. So let's follow on with our first scene here, starting with Lieutenant Shera and um, Lieutenant Commander Romanov, who made a decision to rendezvous by the shuttlecraft with Chief Justice. The other shuttle pod with the Makos is also nearby, and we'll say they are just kind of off screen. But you have assembled in another clearing, some ways off from the village, but also away from the more mountainous area, where the shuttle pods have been able to set down after spending the past couple hours cruising around. Um, you are obviously down a medic at this point, and one science officer who I suppose wasn't so much of a loss insofar as she wasn't necessarily qualified for the type of armed conflict that you're dealing with, but nonetheless, it slightly depletes your numbers here. Um, so let's just follow on here. There's some Makos that are just some of the other Makos are establishing a perimeter around the shuttle pods, taking the occasional scan, but with nothing to report. Um, One of the other Mako officers, Sergeant Hawkins, comes up to you, Shera. Uh, well, latest report, LT. We're still not getting anything through the atmosphere, so nothing yet if the Aegis has returned, but no word no word on the Tandarans either. We're still pretty much on our own.
Hmm. How are we going to determine who in that settlement's a Sulabon? I mean, if we just go in there and they all turn out to be Sulabons, we'll be in a lot of trouble.
Well, it's my opinion, Eula, that they can't all be Suliban.
Are you sure?
I'm not. I'm just spitballing here, okay? I don't think they're all Suliban. But we don't have a way to identify them. We don't have, and it would take too long to go through all of them. So at the moment, I don't know. I'm at a loss for ideas, Eula. What's your thoughts, Hawkins? What do you think?
I'm honestly not sure right now, Lieutenant Commander. We don't have the numbers to take on that whole amount of Suliban here, if that were the
Yeah.
case. But I suppose we can also discount the possibility that there are humans in the colony still, but that the Suliban might be holding them captive somehow.
Well, we could do some flyovers we could try to scan and see if there is a grouping that looks like captives. That was really good thinking, Hawkins. We might be able to identify if there's some there if they didn't kill them to replace them.
Make sure the shuttle stays far enough away so not to draw too much attention.
No, we just tell them we're playing Overwatch,
Yeah.
over town. They'll totally buy that. And
Yeah.
then we'll see if we could try to just look for an unusual grouping of people. That might be the case. They might not kill them. This is just a guess. But it might be that they want to keep them alive so they can have that genetic sample. I don't know how long a Suliban can keep a form or memorize a form. Do they have to go back and recharge the genetic material? That's not my wheelhouse. This is all guesses on my part.
Yeah, afraid not sure I know too much about that either.
But if there is an unusual grouping of people in town, then that might be worth looking into. And at that point, we just land nearby because we want to adjust some sensors while we're waiting for more support.
But here's the thing, though. That the Major, he escaped. They beamed him away.
That's true. That means
So that means they must know that at least one of their number has been uncovered.
True. And that also implies there's a ship in the area because we can't be, there would, with this atmospheric issue, there'd be no beaming. Wouldn't that imply that whatever beamed him out was ground-based?
May have landed a ship nearby.
That we can find. Let's do that first. That would be my suggestion, ma'am. You're in charge of this mission, but there's my official suggestion. Identify the enemy vessel.
I think that's a very good idea if we can try to find anything unusual near the settlement, which might be the ship. Presumably they've disguised it somehow, but maybe we can find a way.
I ought to be able to guess a radius for a Suliban transporter based on the idea that it's slightly probably better than Federation technology. Sorry, than Earth tech.
At this point, I would ask our intrepid shuttle pilot there, Chief Justice, please roll me a. Let's see, that'd be reason and you have multitasking, don't you?
Yes.
Reason and con, then, please.
Let me just find his sheet here.
Yep, should be in the supporting characters tab under the con.
Reason and con, you said?
Yep.
Can I know like a difficulty that I'm shooting for on this, or is it just like a random roll?
Oh yeah. Difficulty, we will set it to 2 with atmospheric interference.
Chief Justice, I don't think believes in using momentum.
Well, the shuttle pod will at least assist if anybody wants to roll communications and engineering.
Yeah. Does somebody have that up, or I'll do it?
Oh, you volunteered.
Oof, Chief Justice.
Oh no.
God damn it.
The chief does not. The chief doesn't get to assist there. Then, or rather, the shuttle pod assist doesn't count for anything because Chief Justice does not succeed here. But you don't succeed at 100. You don't succeed at 100% of the throws you don't take. So.
Man, that was
Well,
just
there
bad
is
news,
something
too.
Romanov wants to do. She's going to walk over to one of the computer consoles inside the shuttle pod and bring up, the memory of the shuttle's descent and flyovers of the area. And she's going to put together a map. And based on that, where would likely locations be that would be able to grab somebody at that position that the Suliban was beamed out from? Meaning possible LZs, and based on my knowledge of engineering, and maybe Justice looks over my shoulder and goes, no, that would suck as an LZ, or that would be a really bad landing spot. We might be able to eliminate some things.
An interesting proposal there. I will allow you to roll for this. I am going to call this reason and engineering. And oh no, I think insight and engineering would be more appropriate. I'm going to set the difficulty to 4 on this one just because of the you are working with limited resources, and also trying to piece together something very difficult or you're trying to synthesize it in a very short amount of time.
Right.
You do get an assist from the shuttle pod at the very least.
That's good news, and I am definitely going to spend some momentum. So insight and engineering, right?
Correct.
Okay, I'd like to use my computer's focus because she's rated high.
Okay.
And she's going to use the computer to have it stitch the elements of the maps together, the scans to make a map.
Yep. And for anyone that wants to roll for the shuttle pod, it would indeed be computers and engineering that would assist with this.
I got that one.
Okay, and I would like to spend 1 momentum so that I'm rolling 3 dice, but we still got some left over in case the crap hits the rotating blades.
Sounds good.
Okay, so here we go. Complication range 1 and 3 dice. And my focus, yes. Here we go.
2 successes.
Okay.
All right, so that is between the shuttle pod and your roll there. That is 2 successes, so it is still a little bit shy of what you would need in order to succeed. I can give you partial information, or I can.
All she was looking for at this point was a map. Just see if we can stitch together a map of the area based on flyovers. Because that's the first step. So the map is the important thing she really wants to build at this point, if possible, or even a partial map.
Okay, so using what you have in the shuttle pod's sensor records from approach, and comparing it with some of the older files that you had from previous orbital passovers that have been done previously, you have at least a vague idea of, we'll call it a fairly decent idea of the topography of the local area. You can pinpoint areas of the colony, the cave system that you approached, or the foliage along that chart, then several areas for several hundred kilometers around. It really doesn't give you much in terms of the transport question, because when it comes to the transporters, there are a lot of factors that could be in play. From your understanding, if they have a range comparable to your own, or rather to Earth transporters, then their range should only be about 10,000 kilometers. It should also be something you would expect to be done at line of sight, but there's nothing really that suggests any sort of location for a Suliban ship or any hidden compound otherwise. If there's something here, there's not really much of a clue past that point that would tell you what you need to look for here. You could.
Can you relay a transporter signal? I mean, that's something that's popping into her head. Maybe they have a relay around here.
Hmm.
I mean, that's insanity. That would require like a big dish or something, but
Well, if that were the case, then there isn't really, with that level of success, there isn't enough here to tell you what you
okay.
need to know.
Well, this is the best I can do, guys. At least we've got a topographical map. So maybe if we get in the air, they might decide to engage. I look over at Justice.
You'd hope they wouldn't. That shuttle pod's not designed for combat.
No, I know. But at least we know where they were.
Well, if we're doing this LT, do you want my team to stay on the ground, or should we all be mobile with the shuttle pods? Sergeant Hawkins rejoins.
Okay, I think I'll stay on the ground with the Makos.
Okay.
Romanov and Justice, you head up and do scans. Look for, I don't know, clearings in woodlands or deep lakes, places that you can land a ship and not really worry about it.
I think that's a good idea. And then we could do a flyover for the town, and maybe Hawkins' theory that there's a bunch of prisoners at one location, might pay off. Although I suspect a lot of people in the colony are hanging around together in safe locations. But you never know; we might get lucky.
Yeah, we'll keep the second shuttle with the Mako squad, and if anything goes wrong, we can hop in that and move to assist.
And as you speculate on that contingency, all of you start hearing the sounds of gentle sort of the gentle sound of distant sonic booms of craft moving at high speeds, breaking the sound barrier or beginning to break
That's
through
not
as
good.
Hawkins listens for a moment. We possibly got reinforcements.
Sure hope so. Sounds like the party's
I'll
got.
look in the direction of the sonic booms. What do we see? Or is it is a tree line disguising things?
I'd say at this distance, if you could get a look into the clear sky, you would see dots and very rough shapes that, with the coloration, maybe you couldn't quite tell whether they match your own shuttle pods or their own or other craft. At this distance, the Mark 1 eyeball isn't terribly effective.
Could we passive scan? Could we passive scan without giving our exact location away?
Well, you could probably do that. I don't have threat to increase the complication range right now, so I need to get Shera doing some things.
Okay.
You need me to start shooting and stuff, yeah. Then you'll get all the juicy frat.
What do you want me to roll, or would it be better for Justice to make this roll? Because he's a con guy.
Whomever is rolling, it would be reason and science.
Ugh. Science.
Sounds like what y'all need is more science.
Yeah, we need more science.
Only the one science officer we had wasn't being used as a hostage.
Wasn't trying to fix another problem.
Okay, I'll take a shot at it. I'm probably not going to pull anything spectacular off, and I don't know that we want to waste momentum on
Just
this.
use a momentum.
Okay, I'll use a momentum. You
Yep.
con.
The difficulty on this task will only be 1 at the very least.
May I use my
We're
computers?
down to 3 now, I do believe. So
Yeah, somebody's
Shera,
gotta
if you can just remove 2 tokens.
And yes, your computer's focus will apply.
Right on. Okay. And what you'll do is, yeah, that'll work.
If
Okay, well, that's one success. So,
Okay.
Romanov, you, as the vessels are clearing the lower mesosphere, and starting to transition further and further down, um, you get a readout on just a little over half a dozen craft. I think, yes, I think 8 craft are on approach, flying in a slightly sort of staggered formation. Um, They are not. They do not read as Earth vessels or Suliban craft. They instead, from what your sensors can pick up from their IFF, they appear to be Tandaran craft of some sort. Uh,
Okay, I'll share that with everybody because I'm sure they'll be really happy about that. Well, it looks like they're Tendarin.
that's not good.
No, no, it's not.
What in the ice pits are they doing here? I mean, they were chasing that Vulcan for being a Sulabant. I wonder if we could. Can you trace where it looks likely that they're going to land?
If they maintain that, I'll pass the info over to Justice so he can make a con roll to analyze their flight path.
uh, I won't force Chief Justice to roll on that. I'll
If I
just.
can guess it, you know.
Yeah. Well, in essence, I don't know if that actually. No, I don't think that actually got to. That got to Patel there. So let me just fix that real quick. There we go. So Chief, you get a chance to look over the landing pattern, see the subtle banks and turns of the shuttle pods, and observe the rough sense of their descent. You don't need to program this into any computer, though, um, to tell you what they're going to do. You can just feel it.
Oh yeah, I've seen this. I've seen this maneuver 1,000 times. See what they're going to do is they're going to bank in real low and come in over the settlement, and looks like they're going to land right in the middle of it. Actually,
Well, I don't think they're there for movie night.
Oh. It is the only open strategic site on this planet, LT. I guess if they're moving to secure the planet, then, or at
That's
least
the
any
place you
settlements.
go. And there's possibly Earth citizens there. This is getting worse and worse. Okay. How many of these Tendaran ships are coming down to land?
Looks like we got 8 bandits on sensors here.
God damn it, there's
Eight
more.
bandits cut if they transporting a squad each. That could easily be what 50?
It's entirely possible.
50? 100? That's far more than we've got. They'd not a good situation. Okay, let's
we will have a point of advantage just as they are landing, but we don't know their intentions.
Don't know their intentions. And we might have to call them and find out their intentions.
Yeah.
Romanov, could you
Go ahead.
do
sorry.
something? Could you do something to the signal to if we contact the Tendarans? Could you do something to signal so they can't trace it back to this location?
Yeah, I think I can. I can bounce it off perhaps another structure or another antenna. Yeah, I can take a shot at that. What
Okay.
would my difficulty, what would my skills, what would be the attribute discipline combination to do that?
Well, I think that would constitute daring and engineering in order to attempt that. And I think that if you try to bounce a signal off somewhere in the settlement, you might be if you can successfully bounce it off a relay there, then you might be able to get a signal through to the Tandarans that way without giving yourselves away just yet. We'll call this we've already established daring and engineering. I would say difficulty would probably go at least a 3 for this one. Yes.
Okay. So I want to spend one more momentum, and could I use the ship's computer to sort of disguise any, if they have an engineer and they're trying to decode it, like where did this come from? Try to, or can I get an assist from the computers to make this?
You're going to get an assist from the shuttle pod's communication suite.
Great.
So communications and engineering.
Sweet. Then I'd like to spend one momentum if there's no objection, but that does drop us to 2, and we're potentially.
That's fine. Or
This
no success so far. We'll get there eventually. Go and get that extra dice.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. No focuses, and I'm rolling now. Okay. 1 success. I'm not fired.
God.
Well, the shuttle pod can still give you an assist here, and just maybe it will crit.
Okay, you want me to roll that?
Yeah.
Okay. Get shuttle pod. And it is going to be what?
Communications and engineering?
Communications and engineering. And no focuses, and it only rolls 1 die or 2.
Only a single die.
Only one.
But it is.
Pray, guys, pray.
I got 1.
Okay.
That's nice.
So that's 2 out of the necessary 3 successes.
Now, if somebody can assist, then we got 3 successes.
I'm afraid I'm going to rule against that, but I will give you the option. Since you are so close, I will give you the option to succeed at cost, where you can establish that signal and you can indeed make contact, but it will induce a narrative complication as well.
You can also use your determination.
Oh, yeah. Well, I
could use a determination to reroll.
That is true. If you, what value would you invoke if you were to do that?
Every problem has a solution. I definitely always have an exit strategy. This is not that, though. I would say every problem has a solution, meaning she's looking outside the box to do that.
Okay, I'll accept that. You may re-roll as much of your dice pool as you wish.
Okay. So that was 3 with a focus. and I had spent a momentum, right?
Correct.
Mhm.
So here
You may
is-
just want to re-roll the 2 dice. You got a success at least. You don't want to remove the success.
Okay. I don't want to remove the success.
Or you can gamble.
And no.
The GM's got to play the little devil.
Oh,
Oh my
What's
god!
happening today?
The dice just
Can we restart the
suck.
internet?
can we just restart the session? Let's restart the session. From scratch.
You've rolled-
Hello and welcome. This is your GM in the Great Barrier.
Oh, wow! You got it. All you had to do was roll 14 or lower.
I know.
That's just,
I mean, I was experimenting with that reality convolutor,
Oh.
but that's just ridiculous.
God.
All right. So your determination is you are determined to find another way out because the problem certainly has a solution, and you're drawing a blank.
Okay.
But you think you could succeed at cost. So you think that there is a way to still do this. And I'm willing to at least tell you that if you did, the complication would ensure that your plan works. However, a narrative complication will ensue that may be separate from that.
So screw it. Let's have that narrative complication.
Yeah, I'm on board with that.
Okay. So, you successfully think that you have the signal bouncing around, so it looks more like it's going to come from the settlement at this point.
Romanov looks like she's really sweating to make this happen.
Okay, so you got the okay.
You have calm.
This is Lieutenant Eula Shera of Starfleet vessel SS Aegis to Tendaran vessels. Please tell me why you have entered Terra Nova airspace.
There's a moment's silence until the signal rejoins. Oh, so there is some Starfleet still behind. This is Major Broca. Lieutenant, I would be very pleased to meet with you, as I believe we have some matters that need discussion. So we were uncertain that anyone was still here at this point, so we will... I am perfectly prepared to discuss terms and go from there in order to hopefully resolve any misunderstanding and tend to our mutual objectives. However, I shall need to request a meeting in person. Please prepare to rendezvous outside the colony site. Out of respect for Starfleet's holdings here, we will adjust our heading and move our new set down point outside of your main settlement location.
Very well. Meet you at that location.
And they relay some coordinates. As part of the complication, along that same channel, there's a message sent back. The voice that you recognize as being that of one Governor Nichols. Oh, Lieutenant, this is Nova Colony. Are you okay?
We're doing just fine, although the Major has been lost. I'm not too sure. I don't know whether he's dead or alive.
Oh, this is a difficult day. That we're seeing craft that have been flying over the colony. We request you return immediately and help us prepare for whatever defense might need to be laid out. We have a lot of innocent people here.
I agree. I've managed to convince the Tendarans to talks So we'll see why exactly they are here, although I doubt their reasons why they're here is going to be pleasant.
I have reason to doubt I certainly doubt their intentions are peaceful here. Please make your way back to the colony as soon as possible. We must discuss the situation before we have to possibly engage with these Tendarans.
We'll come back as soon as we can.
All right. And with that, the line cuts out, and
So you guys bounced the signal, but it was also an open channel.
Is he
Uh,
a Sulabant? Is he I don't know. Okay. Right. So we need to go to these coordinates. Where are these coordinates, and can we see on Romanov's nice topographical map where
Yeah.
it is?
basically they want you to meet just a little ways outside of the colony.
Okay.
It would be such that you could, if you were in fact in the colony, as the Tandorans apparently believe you to be, you could take maybe a nice 5-minute stroll from the colony center and be very nearly just outside or you'd be probably just a minute or so outside of the colony's limits.
Good. Good. So in full view of the colony. Good.
Yep.
I have a question. I had a character. Now that she has to deal with all this responsibility, does Shera ever want to be captain?
We'll see.
Well,
I don't think the Imperial Guard are going to let me become captain anytime soon.
Yeah.
Actually, come to think of it, I'll get on the comms and Shera to Dr. Lambeth.
I think Ben is BRB'd.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, okay. Shera to Ensign Stewart.
Let's do it here. Make it really quick.
You're gonna need to know that the Tendarans have arrived in force. I'm going to meet them to find out exactly what they want. I can't imagine their intentions are entirely pleasant towards the
Tendarans?
colony here.
Why are Tendarans here?
Well, we're gonna find that out, Stewart. Are you okay? You sound like you're coughing a fair bit.
No, just allergies.
Allergies. Oh.
As part of the complication, Ensign, give me that right now.
I'm on the phone.
Hand it over right now. We've got operational security to maintain. There's a sound of a bit of a scuffle.
This is the other half of the away team.
Okay, I don't know whoever's running this clown shoes mission here, but listen very carefully. Keep the
He's on his face by accident.
For God's sake, Doctor, get this woman the antihistamines already, and whoever's on this other line.
Lieutenant Yuda Shera of the Starship Aegis.
Great. This is Major Samuel Cole. I need you to maintain radio silence on this channel until we're ready to make a counterattack. If you can coordinate with these new aliens, then great. If they're hostile, let us then send a quick message to that effect. Make sure it's properly secure and coded, and stand by for further orders. Cole out. And with that, the communicator line closes off.
So, Alaska, do we think that's the real Major Cole, or?
I mean, Stewart said it was, but.
Did we think he had been? I don't know.
I mean, we know the one that we travelled with was definitely an imposter, and Stewart says this is a real Major Cole, so I assume Dr. Lambeth has tested that Cole.
I would hope so.
Okay, right.
It's a unknown known.
Okay, right. In that case, we'll go to the rendezvous. Mako's stay in the tree line in case either any Sulabonts try anything or Tendarans try anything. You can start stopping them from trying things. Myself and the commander will go and have a talk with this was it Buka?
Broca.
Broker.
Eula, here's an energy bar.
Thank you.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
will
Mark.
eat the energy bar.
Oh.
I would prefer some ale.
Yeah, definitely.
And as you think wistfully about the bottle of ale that you and Romanov had shared, what was at this point probably only a day ago, but feels like weeks, we cut back to that bottle of ale aboard the Aegis and pan around from the camera to elsewhere on other decks where, as the Aegis is at warp on its path to intercept, we follow up to check in with Colonel Sharpe, Commander Patel, and I guess if memory serves, was Mr. Soral momentarily sent over to the Republic, or is
He's dropped off on the Republic to try to figure out a way of making the Republic go faster, in its war capability, even just for momentarily, just so it can catch up. If it ruins the engines in the long run, that's fine. I was planning on using it as a flanking defender, if anything. So, I wanted some. I wanted to see if I can get Soral to help make the thing move faster without the chemosite.
okay? Did you happen to still leave the chemosite with him if it came to it?
Yes.
Spectacular. Okay, so let us before we get a chance to check in with Soral, let us first just follow with what's going on aboard the ship. So at this point, all vessels are at warp. At your discretion, I suppose, Colonel.
We're redlining it. We're redlining it.
Okay, so Aegis and the level a slight ways behind are pressing ahead at maximum speed. I think that actually, because just to see. Let's see actually if we can get you some momentum off of that real quick. I will allow for a roll from Connolly here, and possibly an expenditure of power because I believe the Aegis has an enhanced warp core, or yes, an improved warp drive, so that should actually allow it to keep some power as it does this. One of you would care to roll for the ship's engines and engineering, please?
Engines and engineering, you said?
Yes.
Cool. 2 dice or 1 dice?
For the ship, it would be a single dice roll.
No.
Okay, well, let's just
Its
see.
engines are actually kind of crap. Well, actually, no, it's about average. The structure, it's built like a tank, but everything else is below average.
Well, such is life on 22nd century ships. It's not the best way to go. It's just the only way.
Yeah.
All right, so let me see what Connolly can do for you. Quick roll. Where did he go? Where did he go? Oh dear, I've gone and
Replaced by a Sulabon.
yes, that's exactly what happened. I can't believe it. Who would have seen this coming? There he is. So, let's see. Be control, con. Okay, that is a success, and that is 4 points of power that would be expended in order to get up to that level of speed.
So, explain to me power. Like, when does it recharge power?
So that's actually a good question. The recharge would actually have to happen once you drop out of warp, I think, from what I've been reading on updated rules. In particular, I've noted there's been some stuff in Utopia Planitia to clarify this.
Did you purchase it, by the way?
Sorry?
Did you purchase it, by the way?
Yeah, I have a PDF now.
Nice.
Anyway, yes. By the way, for those watching, Utopia Planitia is that. What is it? That booklet is going out now, so that should be. I recommend purchasing it. It is very cool. In any case, let's see whether you keep those points of power here. You keep 2 out of the 4 points of power that you would need to expend.
Nice.
So, Aegis pushing warp 4 right now, followed closely by the level, or relatively so. As far as what you'd be doing on the, oh geez, what's the thought here? Let's check in. Colonel, what would you be up to right at this stage right now?
She would be just mulling over, getting a little frustrated at the battle plan she has in her ready room. Kind of rubs her temples as she realizes something inside. The pains to be young, she says. And will signal Captain Harold.
Okay. The comm line will blink for a moment whilst Crichton connects them, and yeah, you will get Harold on the line.
I'll mention for Harold specifically toward his personal channel than the bridge.
Gotcha. You'll get a rough shot of him inside his ready room. Any updates there, Colonel?
None that are none, which is concerning in of itself. I've been sending the warning signal to the landing parties, but whether they receive it or not is up in the air. I just wanted to apologize for my rather aggressive stance when you first approached. I am sure you understand in any first commission that there's a lot of pressure one can have, and I am completely used to more Mako military mindset, even in a diplomatic sort of angle. That is something. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I did kind of figure that, although I don't know how diplomatic this situation is.
There's often, from my own studies of history and other, from what I've seen of Edison's own practices when it comes to diplomatic tension like this, there can be a bit of leeway and misunderstandings between two powers. But certainly, if you have any suggestions from your own experience and your own disposition, I'd be more than willing to hear from it. I just want to let you know that I am not some, as you say, hopshot, overrated E3 that I kind of made myself out to be. She says.
Oh. I believe the specific phrase I used there, Colonel, was jumped up 03 and...
Upshot, jumped up. Same difference. She smiles.
Either way, all I don't like a lot about the situation, Colonel. I think that this is as solid a plan as we could have under the circumstances. So let's just try to keep our resolve steady. Stay light
I
on those trigger
actually,
fingers if we need to, and maybe we can see if we can talk this out.
I actually have a bit of an idea with that. If you don't mind playing the stage a little bit, Captain, and I'll type it to you, Zach, of what I have planned.
Gotcha. So
Um,
he, as you transmit the data packet over with the information, it takes a moment for it to get relayed onto Captain Harold's computer, and he begins to look over the packet as it's starting to open up here. Huh. It scratches his chin a little bit. Oh, that was an interesting diversion. Now to look over your tactical plan. Huh.
even though it doesn't really exist, she smiles, amused.
Well, that I suppose that's.
I think the message afterwards, even if when they do leave, hopefully, that such rumors can spread to any other people who think otherwise. I
Well,
think in more certain sort of aggressive stance.
Well, if we're gonna do this, then maybe we can try to bounce off another signal, see if we can fool them into thinking that we've got a particular hothead at that location. I don't suppose you had anyone in mind.
I have a nervous enough officer who might just fit it. She smiles and chuckles a little bit.
I this is either a sneeze cut to Crichton or Patel at this point.
Patel.
Yep. Okay. Patel, you sneeze. You can't explain why you sneeze, but it happens nonetheless. Oh, bless you, sir. Bless you. Are you quite all right?
Oh no, thank you. I just and he scratches the side of his nose. I get the feeling somebody's thinking about me or talking about me.
Oh, I have that all the time. Either that or very bad allergies. Just not ideal on a ship like this. Or it's not ideal if that's what happens when you're in deep space. I must say I'm not looking forward to my next planetary away mission.
I think right now the captain will signal. Patel, can you come to my ready room?
I'm on my way.
Oh boy, I get the con now.
Mr. Conley, you have the con.
Oh. Hey, he sits in and just snaps his fingers your way, Patel.
Doing a really bad Chief Justice impersonation there.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll go over to the ready room.
Okay.
Come in, and probably see both captains, one on the screen, one not. And she'll just smile. Patel, how would you like to command a moon base?
Go on.
We have a good captain, bad captain idea, but we need someone who is just jittery and uncertain enough that they might be willing to start a war. If we don't calm them down, of course.
Should I be taking this as a compliment or an insult, Captain? Colonel, Captain, Colonel.
More of understanding that you have a very elaborate and well spread set of skills.
Hmm.
She smiles. It's more of a amused smile. Like, this is just fun.
I see. What is it you would have me do?
We need someone who seems to be having always defended Terra Nova, and much like every other territory we have. But since we don't actually have that, we need someone who has certainly been waiting nervously under the threat of a fleet for the bout. She like checks the hours. How many hours has it been since the Tandarans have been in Terra Nova?
At this point, I'd say we're somewhere on the order of 5 hours now.
5 hours without both the defense and without any word from Starfleet.
So you're
I
looking
think that would
for
make someone nervous.
you're looking for somebody who's out of their element and placed in a very stressful situation. Somebody who's unpredictable and may or may not do anything.
She nods.
Well, if that doesn't sum up my career for the last year, I don't know what does.
For the moment, but you're going to be a great captain as you get older. But
Thank you, sir.
for the moment, I think your nervousness will help out here.
He sneezes again, just for no reason.
Oh.
I guess I caught something from Mr. Crichton. Yeah, no, I'm on board. Makes sense.
Now to create the supposed moon base, she like thinks around. Any ideas, Harold? A ready room, or do we have? I think either of us have an office somewhere we can treat it as a station.
Oh, well, it wasn't completely finished, but we had started cleaning out one of the cargo bays in order to. The idea was essentially we were working on a very rudimentary stellar cartography location. So it has some partially completed monitors. If we angle it right, there might be something that's set up close to like it could look like an operations center of some sort. We could always pop up some displays. We can, of course, relay over what we have if you just want to basically make it a filter of sorts. Or I don't imagine we'd want to try to transfer your chief science officer over while we're either in warp or in close proximity to that. The
True
Tandarans.
enough. I don't want him to be that nervous. She chuckles. The filter should do just fine. I probably have a few officers that wouldn't mind. Should we make it just a lone observer, or should we have it a whole team? She says, looking at the Herald.
Best keep these things simple here.
Lone observer, then. It makes the nervousness more apt. She nods.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I think for our part, that's I think that's probably wise enough. We're still trying to rig our deflectors up for the Thoron emissions you were talking about, but that should I think that'll probably do what we need to do. I just hope that your guest, was it, or your newest contract, however you describe the Vulcan individual you're telling me about. I just hope
probationary contractor. She says.
Right. I just hope that your Mr.
She wouldn't GM. She wouldn't hide what he was, but
Yep.
just the sort of like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah, probationary contractor, Harold.
I just hope that he works fast and carefully so that the Republic can make it not too far behind the rest of us.
It just needs to get to Terra Nova. We can worry about it afterwards. She says under her breath, like, hopeful.
Yep. I feel like at this point, Soral should be the one to sneeze right now. As we...
Workers don't sneeze. I don't know. Where am I at the moment? Am I already beamed over or
Yeah,
on the way? What's happening?
So all of the vessels are en route at this point, which is not ideal for the type of work that the captain has asked you to do. Or you don't have time to exactly go through the ship's engine room whilst and really get into the weeds with these systems. But you find at least that or you're working with what you have essentially. The what's its face? The Republic, a smaller Earth vessel of a sort, and compared to the Aegis, apparently a considerably slower one by a full warp factor, is just straining to try and keep up at about warp 3.5. The deck plates are rattling a bit, and there's a slight feel of unsteadiness as the ship is just trying to keep pace. It is against this template in a smaller style engine room to what you... I don't think that they would have let you see the engine room aboard the Aegis, so...
No!
Well, it is against this template, and in the smaller, roughly something kind of cylindrical. It's more kind of ovular, I suppose. But the kind of cylindrical prism that they have for the warp core setup that is mounted horizontally. It's obviously this is a smaller engine room than what you would have seen in the aboard Enterprise for meta reference here, but it's a very similar type setup. It's a little more squat as well to reflect size constraints for what they have in the ship. But yeah, you are under orders from the Colonel to try and give this ship some sort of appreciable speed boost while it is actively in warp.
I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
Yep. Yeah. A number of the... a good bit of the your time aboard the Republic...
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let me reiterate. It doesn't need to be in warp while it's doing this upgrade. Just the fact that even at a warp factor lower, it's not going anywhere compared to we are. So, if it needs to stop and do upgrades, sure. I just need to get there by, within the same week.
That's very generous of you.
Within the next few days when we jump in.
Like, would it while it is in warp, maybe not at maximum warp, but would it like increase the difficulty or the complication range or more flavor?
So
I should have started with flavor probably.
Yeah. For the moment, we're just in Flavor Town right now, Felix.
Fantastic!
Yeah.
So Zoral checks giant clock he has around his neck.
I'm not trying to kill the Republic. It just needs to get there relatively soon in sync or
Captain, my allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy. Sorry, I had that burning for like an hour now.
Okay. I just
Okay.
went there within operational time, not necessarily. You know what I mean. So
the Colonel's not a Sith. She doesn't deal in absolutes.
Yeah.
Such a shame. So I have no idea how cooperative everyone on the Republic was, but I basically, as soon as I got here, I requested everyone who knows anything about the warp core to assemble in the at the warp core like 5 minutes ago, and have like spent the however long it takes, since we're not like on a minute basis, but like letting them info dump on me, like specifications, working parameters,
Yep.
as much diagrams as they're willing to give me. Because while I know probably in the most of the general knowledge and theory about Federation warp cores, the details are probably a bit hazy.
Yep.
I also want to say, GM, I did not give him rank or command in any sort of capacity. This is just someone that the captain of the Republic and the chief engineer can use to get faster.
A civilian contractor.
Yeah.
That's what the Nerf Pinch and Mind Meld is for.
So he has no say over anybody. She put that very emphasis to the captain of the Republic.
So, I will
mean,
go ahead.
go ahead.
Go ahead there, Felix.
No, I mean, if that's brought up by the captain of the Republic, which would be very fair and appropriate, I would just say, you requested my help.
I did, and your help is quite generous and would be boonful to one that could definitely appeal to command and your issues at the moment. Keep that in mind. But the captain of the Republic is still the captain of the ship and can do what they want. If they do not require your usefulness, then you can enjoy a very leisurely trip in another ship.
So,
But
in any case, the lengthy addendums that Colonel Sharpe left behind maybe linger in your head a little bit, but you've had the opportunity for the officers aboard the Republic to explain to you some of the ins and outs. A few are a little more. You get the sense that some are a little more reserved, and there's maybe some residual hostility. Humans just seem to have a bit of that, and maybe not that you've been following politics too much, but the recent incident at Alpha Centauri might be playing into some of that.
I'm also pretty sure I'm quite aware of the friction between Starfleet or like the Terran Starship program and the Vulcan opinions on that.
Yep.
Which I'm not exactly sure were helped by the Enterprise, but who knows? Who can say?
Yep. In any case, yeah.
And I'm guessing I get at least some outrageous explanations or yelling when I suggest basically putting a nitro injector on warp core.
So I think that the most logical place to properly pick up this scene is like, you want to do what?
Look, all I'm suggesting is we increase the matter-antimatter reaction in a pulse sequence of 45.7 nanoseconds. The containment field should, according to your specifications, hold this, and it would just give us an approximately 27% more energy. It might also burn out the EPS conduits in the next hour.
Surge like that. An hour's being generous here, Mr. Saral. We could lose half the EPS conduits on the ship within a matter of seconds if we don't properly contain the surge. And that's presuming that containment itself is able to maintain that type of structural soundness.
Well, we can, for the travel time, you can pull energy from weapons and shields. We can reduce the lights a bit. We have some environmental systems we can power down.
I don't think
we can also feed back some of the additional energy generated back into stabilizing itself.
One of the junior engineers says, there's actually a point there. The Enterprise actually channeled some of its residual energy from when they were testing on some of their weapon systems. They actually pushed it back through grav plating and their polarized hull plating systems to increase efficiency there as well. We don't obviously have the shields that Mr. Sorrell's referring to, but you know, we might be able to rechannel this and partly replenish our power systems in the process, or like manage the surge that way. The chief engineer of the Republic looks to be getting a little bit of a headache.
That man is either getting promoted or demoted, depending on what happens in this entire scenario.
Mr. Sorrell, I don't suppose that you have a way that doesn't involve basically dunking an unstable accelerant into my engine, do you?
Oh, I'm currently working with what I have, which is the antimatter reaction. We do have the chemocyte as an option, but I have been told it's the last resort, so that's how we approach this.
I think that they were under the impression you were talking about the chemocyte there. That is my mistake.
It's fair. I probably heard chemocyte and then nothing else for the next 2 minutes.
Yep. Look, we could try to if we try to increase the increase in the matter-antimatter injection, we're limited by what our actual injectors can handle. So we're already probably pulling the peak out of that what we can, which, as he says it, the ship like rattles just a little bit before stabilizing. He gives the chief engineer gives a look over to one of the engineers who's paying attention to the console, trying to keep the warp field as stable as possible during this. I should say, while Sharpe gave allowances for the ship to maintain its position back at the rendezvous coordinates, Captain Jennings decided it was better to stay involved in the pursuit and narrow that time as much as possible. Look, this I don't know how much. We can't do that much with just the basic matter-antimatter injection system or further refinement there. We've already been applying it with a few small upgrades to the to stabilize the containment process that Enterprise had picked up over the past year, but we're I don't know. I'm short on options unless you've got something from your Vulcan engine design that can be adapted to what we've got here.
I mean, we do have to disregard a couple of safety parameters and regulations, but we can increase the matter-antimatter injection rate. It's not good for the system. That's why these safety guards exist, but they should be able to keep up with it for a limited amount of time.
The engineer looks over some of the displays here.
Look, and I just go to, I don't know how, it's like one of the consoles that start like putting in data, and it's like, basically the whole matter-antimatter reaction is just kept together by fields, so it doesn't interact with anything before, and the suggestion is basically loosen the fields enough so that just more goes through, which is not strictly injecting, but it should work in the process. It's like, it's stupid, but also not wrong.
Yeah. Okay, I think that the engineer is going to see what you're saying, and it's like,
But the difficulty is to time the pulse right. If you don't time the pulsing right, the matter-antimatter reaction goes out of control while being injected, which obviously would ruin the entire injection cycle and render the warp drive moot. But if we can figure out proper pulsing of this, we can get a significant increase in the warp speed.
for a short run.
I'm not disregarding the risks, Chief.
Yeah.
But this is the only way I see.
Suppose it's as good a suggestion as anything we've got. Samno, Lestrade, get ready to adjust the cycling of the injectors. All right, Mr. Sorrel, we're gonna try it your way here. Don't suppose that you've got a sense of some protocol for this.
Only the one we are just making up as we go. I do have some notes on a previous experiment. Wait, and he looks around the engine room. And probably for some kind of specialized, but only rarely necessary, maintenance equipment or something like that. Do my eyes deceive me, or this is the lithium wave function calibrator?
You got a good eye there.
Fantastic. And he just goes over to the console or the wall panel, whatever it is, like removes the covering, like reaches inside, and you just like here with like a couple of sparks in the crack, it just rips a part out. It's just, I'm gonna need this, and I want to use rocks into replicators.
Oh, jeez.
Dismantle one piece of equipment to I mean, not create an entire device, obviously, but kind of create something that helps stabilizing the injection process.
I will let you do that. I'm attempting to recall. Does it set for either daring or control in engineering with that particular task, or?
That's just there's no task associated with it. I guess
it's just
you
like
have to. I can roll for it one, but the complication range increases by 2 because it's an improvised piece of equipment, and it only works for this scene session. What session? Scene?
Gotcha. Oh. So one's just.
It works however it's convenient, I guess.
Okay, I see. So. Yeah, you think that to the end of stabilizing the antimatter flow, whatever equipment you have torn out was either a sensor or some sort of regulator that, with some mild unconventional adjustments, you believe you now have. You believe you've set it up in such a way that it can help you more precisely calibrate or like track the cycling of the containment fields, and thus more efficiently monitor the reaction.
Science mumbo jumbo. It kind of creates the more energy is run through it, the higher the energy. The more the field is lower to create more energy, the more it goes against it to create a stronger field until it burns out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a safety feature, or like it helps to regulate the injection pulsing. Something along those lines.
Fair enough. So, with that, a bit more time passes. We get the obligatory shot of the Republic moving through space at warp as to denote a bit of passage of time, where the equipment has now been jury-rigged into place, and engineers are on station around there. The chief has gotten back with Captain Jennings to inform them of what's going on. All right, Mr. Sorrel. Let's try this before I decide we shouldn't.
No time like the present.
So I'm going to ask you for a control and engineering roll here. We're going to set the difficulty on this to 3, and because of rocks into replicators, the complication range has been increased by 2.
Yes.
Do you use some momentum, my friend?
I do. Can I use one of my focuses? Computers, troubleshooting, sensor operations?
You can also use determination too to get an automatic 2 successes.
Yes. I'm working on it.
Okay.
One bonus at a time.
Yep. What was your previous question there? I did miss that.
Focuses like computer, sensor operations, diagnostics, troubleshooting.
I think that definitely computers would apply, and quite possibly diagnostics would also work in your favor.
Good. Yeah, and actually, I think I would like to use a determination for the auto crit,
Okay.
just to have this going. And I'm gonna use the value. The only constant is change.
Okay, that will work in your favor there. Are you using that for the automatic critical success?
Yes, and then I'm gonna spend 1 momentum for an extra die.
All right.
And I'm all loaded up. And we'll press the button, and I'm delaying this because I'm very scared because of the rolls we had this session.
Let's see how it goes. That is 2 successes plus your determination. Gives you a total of 4 successes.
This was a 16. Complication range was 17.
Oh.
So close. Oh god.
And it's just one outside of success as well. So it's
Yes,
that's
it's
the line perfectly.
That's exactly. So 4 successes. I don't know. Can I pump 1 more success into making this more efficient, or should we keep it for a momentum, guys?
The Republic.
Keep momentum.
Yeah, the Republic does technically get to roll to assist here too. So let me just punch up their space frame here. So they will get engineering plus.
I mean, I guess we will lose some EPS conduits and stuff along the way, but that's like everything a starship does, loses EPS conduits.
Okay, no help there, but at least no complication.
I'll take
so
it.
there's a. As they adjust the or the engine room staff begins adjusting the curvature of the containment fields and begins sequestering portions of matter and antimatter for the in order to regulate the reaction. You pour over the data, including the improvised component. You wait steadily for you look for the precise moment in order to shape the reaction and best shunt the power so that the pulse of matter and antimatter at the increased loads hits at the exact right time. The first when you spot that moment and set the first reaction to go off, that first pulse takes everyone a little by surprise. There's a brief flare-up of the lights, maybe a few sparks from consoles, as not all the systems were entirely prepared, but with quick micro adjustments, you managed to shunt that extra power, and with that, there is a few more rattles to the deck plates before the bridge calls down with updates, and the chief engineer looks around. 3.6, 3.7. Oh shit. 3.94.
I imagine the entire ship is rattling like an old car at this point.
Yep. Hold on. I'm going to shunt some of this extra power into the deflector, see if we can stabilize the field that way. The rattling diminishes very slightly, but just enough to where it's not something that you have to shout over. It's still... there's still a bit of a rickety feel to the ship in some ways, but it's like... Well, I just hope we can hold this.
It's a constant process, and Zoral is just sitting on a console and just constantly adjusting the field parameters and energy flows and everything, which I assume is also done by a couple other engineers and
Yep.
science officers.
Yep. Everybody is looking over everybody's work and making the appropriate micro adjustments, but you have a hope here, Saral, that this might just pull you to where you need to go. So
2 weeks later.
Now, speaking of where you need to go, Saral, we cut back to Terra Nova with a shot over the mountain area and a shot inside the tunnels of one of the major mountain ranges. Inside, deep in the cave layerings, where despite the best antihistamines that the doctor had on hand, Ensign Stewart is still unfortunately having repeated sneezing fits. And yeah, Dr. Lambeth, you're being given the chance not just to get back to your medical gear, but also one of the Novans has approached you. You are a healer from Earth?
Yeah, that's about right. Dr. Lambeth, pleasure to meet you.
Please come this way. We have wounded that need tending to.
Of course.
Uh,
Until, head over and go with them.
Yep. So you're guided through the tunnels. Everything is very dimly lit in the cave system. They've kind of strung up lights, glow sticks, and just kind of whatever they have on hand. I'd say that beyond what they have set up there, there's probably a few, like, dozens and dozens of crates kind of interspersed through the area, whatever supplies they could gather quickly. Probably a few more in like improvised setups, like logs that are rather tree branches that are hung in wherever they could manage. They have like rope hanging off them, which seem to have some of the digger type creatures that you heard were on this planet. Apparently, they've made some plans for a slightly longer term stay, or they're at least trying to hunt for some of their food. You see that there are. It seems as though the cave system mostly, aside from the major and the governor, most of the people here are Novans, it would seem.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're all in various
Yes.
stages of work trying to maintain things. Some are like looking over weapons and otherwise other small bits of machinery. But you're guided around to a chamber where there are some people that appear to be bandaged up, laying out on basically sleeping bags or like blankets, cloths have been laid out on the flattest areas of the floor they can manage.
Okay, so I guess he'll look at his medical bag stuff and go out and try and help. The thing.
Is Stewart with him, or?
Yeah. I assume Stu's probably somewhere there. He wouldn't stop them from coming along.
No, they would not. So you could definitely have Stuart along if you like.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
You don't mind if I stay with you? Because it seems like the major's going to rip me a new one if I stay there any longer.
Yeah, it's probably best you stick by me. Yeah, I've got. Yeah, I've got more drugs that you may need. So,
the dose you gave me before is working. Just catching up, I guess. Let's walk about and see what's going on.
Yeah, so taking a look.
Okay. The Novin that led you to the section points out. We have two here that were leg broke. Others have burn, light burn. Um, one here took a difficult fall.
What's your name?
Hmm.
I'm Stewart. Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn Stewart.
I am Devin. He
Davin.
replies.
Nice to meet you, Davin. She smiles. When did this all start?
This started so maybe three oh, he thinks a moment. 3 weeks, I think. Uh,
7 nightfalls is a week, at least for Terrans.
hmm. The he struggles to think. Orbital rotation is slightly different here. Um, but that it is close enough to say yes. Uh, it came when the sky demons struck. They There was great lights in the sky and a uh, groups of these creatures. They appear as if covered in moss. They came through and they took the people. Only
Just the colonists, or also Terra Novans?
they tried to take my people as well, but we were faster to escape. When we moved here, we were prepared to need to go back underground if your Earther's words were proven only to be shale. Some we got out with us, but most we do not know. They were all disappeared in the light.
The sky demons, did they bring... she tried to remember her freaking like the article she wrote about Terra Novans. Do they know what a ship is? Or does she have to like translate to like large land, moving land, or
The
something?
the best you would know would be skyship, roughly.
Okay, because they're subterranean, so she doesn't know. I want to make sure that like they at least know what the concept of a ship is. Um, did they come in a big skyship, one the size of a town, or small ones like we have?
Their skyship was, well, we could not tell. The uh, the darkness of the overside, we could only make out some lights, and we have not seen any of the. We have not seen it since. The the skyship, we do not know where it is, and
Do you know how many skyships have come, or how many of the demons have appeared since?
in, uh, it is not known. Our we have tried to we have tried to tried to figure that out, but the Major is very insistent on keeping us in the underside and staying secure until more skyships from Earth come.
She just nods, looks over to the doctor.
Yeah, that seems like a good call. Yeah, just stay safe for now.
Mhm.
So,
Doctor, is there any better chance we can identify Suliban outside of just looking at their blood after a moment? Any tests or any other quick factors we can make?
I
I don't
don't
know
know if
medicine.
I don't know if there's anything we can do from a distance. I can. I mean, it's possible I could come up with some kind of cocktail or compound or something like that. Maybe a gas that. I mean, this is purely theoretical. I have no idea if I can do this, but something dispersed that might trigger Sulaban's like innate either their
As
shape-changing abilities or allergies that
as
they
if
have.
as
Maybe.
if on cue she sneezes, like an allergy.
Yeah. Oh, right. Sorry. I meant the A word.
If only Steward was allergic to Sulaban, then it'd be fine.
Hmm.
Look,
Is
she
that why
certain
she's sneezing all
grasses,
the time?
and then they decided to put a rucksack over her head. Like, yeah, no, she's just. It's all right. I'm fine.
Yeah. Can I do some checks to have a think about and maybe try and manufacture something that would like some kind of allergen that might be unique to the Sulaban, or
Well,
something like that that they'd have that's different.
I would
Like,
be.
I mean, the other thing I'm going on is like, well, what you do obviously is you just like drop a bomb on the area and send a bunch of shrapnel there, and then they'll all bleed at once. And you can do that from a long distance and tell, but obviously that has other
Yes,
problems.
the Starfleet approach.
Oh,
Can I assist with the allergen idea because I have xenobotany?
I'd be prepared to let you work with that. So you've, let's see, you have the, what is it? You have some blood samples and sensor scans you got from that. You have some local plant compounds, unfortunately for Stewart. Uh, you have a lot here that could help out this particular type of search. So I'm going to say that yes, I will allow you to attempt that task here. We'll call this. Let's call this reason and medicine. The difficulty I am going to set to something a little bit higher just because you are
Yeah,
limited to working with what little field equipment you have, and you're basically trying to MacGyver a anti-Suliban like an anti-Suliban disguise type thing, which is a very serious.
yeah.
Yeah,
Would we also have records on like any general information on the Sudaban, like in our just standard Starfleet database stuff? And if so, do we actually have that with us?
so there might be some material in the database that would be a lot of it would probably be like locked off behind classified files. It's not something that you would have on hand necessarily,
Yeah. Okay.
unfortunately.
You did test earlier for Suliban on the ship, though, I could argue. So you could have had seen
Yeah,
it
I've got some.
before.
Yeah, so I'd have some like. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'd have some knowledge.
Could I argue for reason and science because botany?
You could assist with reason and science, yes.
Sweet.
So I don't recall if I've set a difficulty here as of yet. I think because I'd be inclined to go for a base difficulty of 3, but since we are working with only like basic field equipment, I think that I'm going to have to increase that to 4 in order to succeed.
Okay.
Before you make that roll, do you remember you have determination?
Oh yes. Didn't think about determination.
Oh.
Actually, I need to check what certain what certain talents do.
Okay.
I've just remembered because
I
field medicine immediately sounds like a thing that might help me with this, but I can't remember what it actually does.
That's a very good point. Allow me to check for you here. So let us see here. Field medicine. That would just pulling up that particular screen now. Oh, that would be oh through wait no that's field medic and not field medicine, so it's not the medical supplement, but it might be
Okay.
in the core rulebook here. So let me run over
It's
to.
also entirely possible that it is field medic and I've written it down wrong.
Oh well, let me check the core rulebook here, which I have on hand. Ah, yes,
Oh no, there
field
are two.
medicine. Yep, when you attempt,
Yeah.
when attempting a medicine task, you may ignore any increase in difficulty for working without the proper tools or equipment. So, uh, yeah, that talent definitely applies, and you can ignore the increase in difficulty and simply work at a difficulty of 3 here. So,
Nice.
a very good check.
With determination, it'll only require 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not sure what I've got that's good for determination. There's kind of maybe, if I'm being a stretch, I've got every lie contains an element of truth, and the Suliban are kind of all about deception. That's, so, looking at their disguises compared to, and that shows an element of the truth beneath, but that doesn't really
I mean,
help
like
with the actual.
they can pose as human, but they still have allergies of Suliban.
Yeah.
So sort of a physiological clue is what you're going with then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could accept that. So I will definitely allow for you to use that for your determination, so you can get the automatic critical success that way.
Okay, so just roll a dice. Or make
Yep. Do you
the
want to use
roll
do you want to use a momentum?
I don't think I need to,
Okay.
because we've got
Let's
a
go.
crit already.
Hey,
Oh.
that is 2 more successes on top of that,
Oh!
and oh dear, yeah, with Ensign Stewart assisting there.
Didn't need the determination.
Wow. Well
So
done,
that
guys.
4 successes plus the auto crit from the use of your determination there. That means a total of 6 successes, which will give you 3 momentum back to the pool. So, with the comparison of the scans and over continued misery, watery eyes, and possibly the slight beginnings of a runny nose from Stewart, you begin to figure out that there may actually be some native pollen that, if developed in sufficient concentration, could actually be used to disrupt the Suliban's disguise.
Okay, so then it's just a case of turning that into something that we can distribute en masse.
Yep. As the with the concentrations that are required, it would be closer to hypospray grade. So if you're depending on how you attempt to distribute it out, I will say that it will it may require slightly greater concentration if you're, say, looking to aerosolize or um, find some other method along that line. It may require more equipment than you have on hand here, at least, but that's questions for, well, it'll take more than just the two of you in all likelihood to pull that off. But you have a good start, though.
We can bring this to the. Sorry, I'm not steward. We could bring it to the colonel and get the whole colony looking for it.
Yeah, I think we're going to need the resources of the colony. We're not going to be able to just handle this ourselves.
But it's
Yeah, we'll let them know the plan, I guess. And are we still in touch? Yeah, are we still in touch with the others, with the rest of the away team? Do
no,
I
we
have a
got
way
cut
of
off.
contacting them?
We almost did, and the colonel's like radio silence, and yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess
Okay,
we
well, I
go
guess
back
it's
to the
just up to
colonel
us.
and what's his name?
So you head back to Major Cole. I'll presume you take at least like there's a little bit of time to help help some of the Novans there, which Doctor, you are able to tend to some wounds there.
Yeah, we went over there to go help the Novans and then got distracted trying to solve the Sudavan issue.
Yep,
Yeah.
shiny
Left
bioweapon.
Why?
Spectacular. Anyway,
I mean, I have this chemosite still lying around.
God fucking damn it.
Anyway, yeah, back up the tunnel. You find the major speaking with the governor and some of the Novans. Something about need to mobilize what's left of the mortar detachments in case they are either and position them in a way to either support um, support the colony's defenses against alien invaders, or shift to make another attack on the colony if the aliens are friendly. Can only guess that he's planning for some major fighting against the Tandarans. Or Suliban, or some. He's planning to fight.
As we walk in, she just you just loudly.
Oh, Ensign, I thought that we had a discussion about when to open your mouth in my general vicinity.
I'm sorry. I can only do it. I can. That we gave antihistamines, but you literally buried my face in weeds. So it's still taking time. Oh
Yeah,
God.
I'm not a miracle worker. There's only so much I can do. And allergies has never really been my specialty.
The doctor.
Oh, right. Speaking of allergies, it turns out I'm surprisingly good with them. So I think we found a way of detecting Suliban without going through the whole like stabbing people thing. Essentially, there's a local flower compound Suliban have a form of allergic reaction to, and I figure we can use that down in hyperspray concentrations, or if we want it aerosolized for large dispersal, we can we'll need to gather more of it basically, and there's only two of us, so we need your help if you want us to implement this on any kind of large scale. We're going to need the resources with your people.
It's a spore that grows in some of the near the subterranean water lines. If we just crush them, the crush the mushrooms, it should bring enough spores for those things. Just needs lots of them.
The plants of the underside, the sunless blooms. Yes, we can start gathering that. do it. Get as much as you can. Get them what they need. We can coordinate with your shuttle teams. Maybe I don't know if we can maybe jury rig up maybe we can jury rig up the ram scoop or something on the shuttle pods to drop it over the colony. That is, if we're not having to use them for air support against our new Tendarn friends. But if not that, maybe we can rig them up to the mortar shells. Whatever you need, just let us know. I'm sorry, Doctor. The governor jumps in. He's looking easily the weariest out of the whole bunch. His clothes have taken on quite a bit of dirt, and he just seems like he's trying to keep pace here, not running off the adrenaline that the major seems to be operating off of. Are we seriously sanctioning biological warfare? I don't
It's
care.
just it's an allergen. It's not. It just has. The doctor can say it's not that serious of a. God.
I mean, it's that at worst, right? So if you consider stuffing a bag on someone's head biological warfare, then yeah, we're doing biological warfare.
Out of context quotes from Star Trek Adventures Aegis.
Yeah, if you consider stuffing a bag over someone's head biological
I mean,
warfare, we're
you
doing...
are. Technically, it is biological warfare.
Look, don't you start, okay?
Listen, the definition clearly says.
Well, the governor doesn't seem to be put particularly at ease by your reply, but the major just cuts him off. This is our best chance to incapacitate the enemy and make a counterattack. If we can take them out, then maybe we can at least reclaim the colony. And
I'm just gonna sit down. But it's not even gonna do that. It just turns them back to, or makes them obvious. Of who's who.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
man, I
plan was
really can't
basically
see.
just helping us tell if they're all Suliban or not. I mean, it's possible that it might get them sneezing a bit, and that'll kind of incapacitate them, but probably won't be that severe a reaction. At least not on the kind of scale that we can get it if it's just aerosolized.
well, if it helps us target them, so much the better.
We could always tell the other party if you give me back the comm badge, Major. Sir.
He looks at you and says, "Well, that's actually reasonable. Keep it brief. Make sure that channel's secure." And he tosses you the communicator.
Ow.
apparently hitting your face and not the toss he was hoping to land it in your hands with. But while all of this is going on, before they have a chance to signal back, let us cut back over to the away team near the outskirts of the colony. With I believe was the plan to take a shuttle ride over in order to get close there, or did you make your way on foot?
How far is it? I mean,
Well, I'd say that it was a fair distance in order to because you had taken I don't know, something on the order of like you'd moved for like at least an hour, I think, in order to get to the location where you had the Nova encounter, and then you took a path that would have brought you a little further away from the colony still in order to rendezvous. Kind of, you headed back that way, but you detoured in order to meet the shuttle pods in the clearing.
Okay. In that case, we'll use the shuttle pods to hop over nearby and have them land maybe a kilometer away from the settlement, and then we'll walk the rest of the distance.
Okay. So you make your way there. Sensors have told you that true to their word on this, the Tandarans did land a ways away. There are probably on the order of nearly 50 Tandarans that were that seem to be assembling. At least that's what your preliminary readings from life signs are getting you. All of their craft are still on the ground, however. They haven't diverted any to air support yet.
Okay, good. About 50 of them. Good.
Yep.
Right. Excellent.
They
But
are keeping
before
their distance, but they haven't.
okay,
Go ahead.
before approaching, I'll just roll up my sleeve and use my Ushantor just to give my arm a little nick, a little cut, and then roll the sleeve back down.
Gotcha. You have confirmed you are not a Suliban.
Yep, and hopefully, if anyone asks in the next few minutes if I am a Suliban, I'll now have some proof I'm not a Suliban.
Looks like a good idea. She does the same thing.
No. Now, question.
Use the other end. Use the end which I didn't cut myself on.
Right.
Question: Are you going around to the colony to get to the rendezvous point, or are you aiming to? Are you walking through the colony in order to?
I'm going around the colony. So I'll try to stick more to the tree line while doing it.
Gotcha. Let's see. I would think that there would be a watch in the area, so. I'll give you the chance to maintain some degree of stealth, Shera, with daring and security.
Daring and security.
Or
Does my focus in survival help?
yes.
Yes. Okay.
And I think Romanov, I will allow you to assist if you are following Shira's lead here, as opposed to having both of you make the check here.
Yeah, absolutely. She's following her lead.
I'll spend a. I'll give you a threat to get an extra dice.
What do you want me to roll to assist?
Insight and security, or no, rather daring and security.
Daring, security. I have no focuses, and it's just one die to assist, correct? Okay.
The GM is very happy to get back some threat, and while Romanov does not succeed, Shera scores 4 successes there, which is easily enough to beat the town watch's insight. So you manage to navigate around them, filling your momentum track and giving you 1 floating.
Oh, cool.
So,
Nice. Can we just have that floating to be finding a good spot for the Makos to hide where they can oversee the meeting point with the Tendarans and the settlement.
Okay, if you'd like to basically create an advantage that way, then I can take the 2 momentum, the 1 floating, and the one of the 6 out of your pool in order to give you an optimal support or stealthy support point for the Makos.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that'd be useful.
Sounds
just
good.
in case things go bad.
Okay, so you make your way there, and that a few strides out of like a little ways outside of the colony, you've made it to the rendezvous point. The Makos are in the nearest tree line, hiding as best as they can. You are probably at this point inside of the colony. And there is also a figure that is approaching. He has an escort with him, but he will hold up a hand in order to signal them to stay back. And this is the gentleman you see on approach. You are the Starfleet contingent?
Hold on, you haven't shown the, haven't seen the picture.
Here.
Um,
There we go.
Brock. Oh, it's cool. Yes, I'm gonna just as we're making our introduction, I'm gonna make sure I am standing between Broker and the colony, just in case anyone from the colony gets a good idea to start shooting.
Okay. You are positioned as well as you can in order to block any particle fire at this point, or somebody that would have to take a shot would have to. They would
They'll
likely
have to
hit you.
hit me.
Yep.
And I'm right with her, so that makes it even.
Double wall. Excellent. Good.
Yeah, she's a step behind you because you're the lead on this. So
Would
Major, I'm Lieutenant Shera, and this is Lieutenant Commander Aleska Romanov.
how you doing?
Well, honestly, I'm enjoying stretching my legs. This isn't a half bad planet.
It's a very nice world. A bit warm, but otherwise, I think it's certainly a good place for humans to make home.
Yes. I must say I'm surprised to see an Andorian here defending it. I suppose.
Well, yes, I'm the liaison officer from the Andorian Imperial Guard. So I was assigned to the Aegis, and the Aegis was sent here.
They apparently ran from here too, but I suppose that's a separate issue. Not everyone is quite as stout as the guardsmen, I suppose.
Oh, we do have a fine reputation.
Indeed. Well, I don't seek to besmirch your reputation here today, Lieutenant. I'm just here for a simple reason.
And what's that?
We have reason to believe that there are Suliban somewhere in the area. We've been conducting searches of the local space, and, well, we found this planet when we were following up with a lead from one of our other ships. I have orders to inspect and verify that there are no Suliban in the area.
Understandable. What's the Why do the Tendarans have an issue with the Suliban?
I don't have full access to all the material, but suffice to say, we have been fighting a war with them for most of the past decade.
Mm.
The Tendarans have been victims of the Cabal, a violent organization that represents a considerable bit of the Suliban. They've engaged in espionage, destabilization, and open hostilities against a number of powers in this region of space and far beyond, evidently creating some sort of disruptions that would, well, risk, if not outright conquest by the Cabal, then perhaps to shape a future that they find preferable. What their full objectives are irrelevant at this point. What does matter is that we are very nearly finished with them.
Yes, I believe United Earth have had similar contacts with Suliban to equally disagreeable effect.
In which case our interests align here. As soon as we can verify that the Suliban are as soon as we can locate any Suliban in the area, then we can proceed on our way.
Understandable.
And
Though
in
I
turn,
would
any
have to point out that you have no authority. This is a United Earth colony. I certainly don't have any authority to grant you permission to start conducting medical tests on any colonists here. If we were to wait for the Aegis to return, and I'm sure she will, then we can speak to Colonel Sharpe, the commanding officer.
well,
Surely these tests can await. I mean, you have control of the space surrounding Terra Nova, I assume. I mean, you've deployed a sizable ground force here, so I assume you have plenty of ships in orbit.
indeed we do. And while I don't disagree that it would be preferable to have gone through this whole situation more above board, I indeed would have much preferred that we'd been able to speak with the Aegis when it was first in orbit, but your commanding officer made the decision to run. At any rate, any time that we take hastens the possibility that the Suliban, if they are present, and we have reason enough to believe that they are, it gives them the opportunity to escape, to counterattack, otherwise create an unacceptable loss of life, both for ourselves and potentially for your people if there are any hiding among them. And indeed, if we wait for your colonel to return, then presuming that they have misinterpreted our intentions or made bad assumptions about them, then they may well bring a large force, which, while I'm certain that we could match them, it increases the risk of miscalculation of engagement, and we don't want that. I don't want any Earthers or Andorians to die. No more so than I want my own people to. So, with your
Very
with your permission, if you may even go so far as to oversee our examinations, we can bring in our contingent. We can conduct the tests under your supervision. If there are any Suliban among them, we will detain them, remove them, and then if we can coordinate on a search in case there are any vessels in the nearby vicinity. Um, if we complete it all fast enough, then you could come back up with us, and we could possibly even meet your Colonel Sharpe before they come back home, before they come back here, and establish that everything is in order.
okay. This guy's sounding far too reasonable.
Out of character, this is diplomatically, this is fucked up. This is a hard thing for you, my man. Good luck.
So
Technically,
I would just like
no.
to see if is this guy lying at all? Is he keeping any information back from me? What am I feeling from this guy?
Okay, give me an insight, and I guess I would be inclined to give you command, but I'm prepared to say security would apply as well.
I will take security.
Okay.
I will definitely take security.
Yeah.
I don't think any of my focuses apply on this. In that case, I will.
He is going to roll two dice, or he's going to get 2 successes there in order to project what he's saying here. So
I will do the old give you a threat for an extra dice.
and I meant to move you over to this map here. That is my apologies, both to the players and everybody on the stream, but there we go.
2. I'm going to re-roll that 0.
Yes, because you have bold security, which every time you give me a threat in order to purchase a die, that allows you to re-roll here. So I will take your threat and...
God damn it. 16.
Well,
Oh well.
Adam,
Twos.
At a match, I would say that he does seem exceedingly earnest about what he's saying. He doesn't really give you any reason to suggest that you think he's lying here. He's definitely polished with what he's saying, but it's there isn't like this doesn't feel like a veil of some sort for him, like offering cover of like, maybe we check the colony, maybe we find some Suliban, maybe we decide that we want to detain them, and really it's better we just detain them here, and now this is our colony or this is our prison camp area. It's not. He's not going that far. Um, the only thing that seems very untoward or like concerning is the degree of casualness with which he speaks about the idea of just detaining the Suliban. Like the between what you know of the Tandarans and how this man speaks of it, it would not be much to say that his intentions are untoward there, or that like he will probably do exactly as he says, and those Suliban might get stuck in a deep dark hole for the remainder of their existence.
Hey,
Oh no, what a shame.
Eula, can I look over at the Major. Eula, could I get a sort of sidebar with you, Major? Nothing, no offense meant. I just want to broach something with the commanding officer on the scene, if you'd give us a moment.
Oh, take what time you need. As a matter of fact, I think it's better that we coordinate this as quickly as possible, so I will tell you what, Lieutenant. I will be. He checks over. We've calculated out orbital rotation, so I will be back in what would be the equivalent of 1 Earth hour,
Okay.
and I will have a larger team there. If you have objections to our plan, well, you can make them known at that point. Otherwise, we will just be prepared to conduct our inquiry and tests, hopefully with your assent, and we'll keep this as pleasant and as simple as possible.
Yeah, seems
But
fair.
Very well, Major.
I do hope that if you make your decision beforehand, that you will send us a signal on an open channel.
Yeah, we will for sure, and we'll try to move. Okay.
Very well. And with that, Broca turns around and starts walking back towards the direction of the beachhead that the Tandarans have set up a little ways over.
Hey,
yes.
So she says a Vulcan word, which means when there's a bunch of bad choices, she explains, you choose the least bad choice. There is one move that would make him happy, which would pull a burr out of our hair, so to speak.
And what's that?
We have him look for that Suliban ship. And that is the immediate tactical threat because it can transport anybody anywhere. And we tell him to hold on the colony, as that threat is much more, what worries me at the moment. And that ought to buy us a little time, too.
I've also wondered if he'll agree to let Dr. Lambeth do the medical checks.
Well, he already agreed that you could take command, so you could designate.
They can have a couple of observing officers inside the colony just to make sure everything's above board.
Or as a point of order, it was reverse. It was that you can have observers while they do the thing.
Yes. Yep. I'm just. Hopefully, they'll agree to these terms.
I think. And you could also suggest that those medical people right in front of Dr. Lambert and we have additional observers. That's all very fair. And if they want to avoid, because They just want to get the Suliban. 10-year wars are pretty significant. So
Yeah. Plus, we can claim that since Dr. Lambeth is a human medical doctor, he'll understand human physiology better than Tendarans, who, let's be honest, they won't know a thing.
right.
So I think we can do that, and we're gonna have to send a shuttle pod over to collect the doctor.
Yeah, that's my proposal. We can turn out the hour. The only thing is, if the Suliban are observing us and they've seen
They are.
and the assumption is that's the case, then we might want to get them looking for that Suliban ship ASAP. And that's the tactical.
Yeah, they'll know the Tendarans are here for them. They'll have an idea that at least one of their number has been discovered.
The Tandarans still don't have a right to do any of this.
And the Tendar,
Like I said, it'd be like, sorry, I'm medding.
Your inner Sharpe speaks to you, and
yeah.
Incidentally, at that point, I'd say your communicator's chirping now, Shera.
I'll open it. Shera here.
I believe that Steward was going to, or Lambeth was going to update them.
Shera here. Hello.
Right, sorry, this is the doc.
Hey, Doc.
To speak. We've figured out a way to basically tell who's Suliban and who's not.
Presumably without cutting them with a blade.
Yes, without doing that, we use allergens instead, basically. There's a local, fungus kind of stuff found in the caves around here.
Okay.
The Suliban are allergic to it.
Ah, that's interesting.
So we can
would you be
aerosolize
able to get all of that over here in the next hour?
Not well. Hour might be pushing it, but yeah, we can give it a shot.
Give it.
I mean,
because
not in like a widespread dispersal pattern in that time, but I think we can get it set up with a hyperspray and stuff like that by then.
Yeah, we've got a big problem as 50 Tendarans here want to perform medical checks on the entire colony. I have no idea who in that colony is a Suliban and who is human. And then there starts to be a shooting match between Suliban and Tendarans. There might be innocent people caught between them. So if you can get that stuff over here quickly, we might be able to identify the Suliban and get the drop on them.
Yeah, all right. How by the book do you want to play this? How straight-laced do we want to be with this? Because I can mess around with some stuff. I have some thoughts. If we want to maybe mess with the Tendarans a bit, or if we want to just do as they say and try and figure out who is a Suliban or not, we can just do that.
I mean, okay, I feel a little better. But are we really going to just shell out aliens to these people? We don't even know what's going on.
We have something to give them in a sense. They'd be very concerned if there was a Suliban ship. I think they would prioritize that. And the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So
but that also might give them more reason to just ignore us and go for be more aggressive. I mean, if I heard anything about I read some stuff about the Tendarans, and they are not kind at all to any Suliban, Cabal or otherwise.
What do you think might happen if the Tandarans suddenly discovered that one of them was a Suliban?
They'd
That
probably
might
lock
factor.
that person away for a really long time if they don't shoot him on the spot.
I'm just saying, I'm notoriously. I mean, obviously, I'm good at my job, but sometimes I make mistakes, and it can be quite hard. You know, even the Suliban detecting stuff's not entirely faultless, and there might be some false positives thrown up sometimes.
I mean, we could always make statements that, given how long it's been already, there might be a Cabal agent amongst their own crowd, and we can test everybody, humans, Tandarans alike, or
I mean, yeah,
Makos
because
and
it is
Tandarans
also
alike.
possible that one of them's a Suliban, Cabal, or otherwise. No, that's always a possibility, I guess.
I mean, I guess, sirs, I'm just not comfortable with the idea of stuffing somebody into a very deep, dark hole that is reminiscent of a lot of our terrible Earth habits.
Well, to be fair, we wouldn't be the ones doing the stuffing, but I take your point. Okay.
Not to mention
So
it's our
hold on. I
calling.
did hear that major. What's his
Cole.
name?
Yeah, he's right
Major
here. giving me-
Cole. Yeah.
He's right here glaring at me behind my
He's
head.
how many are there other colonists there with you?
Mostly Novans.
Mostly Novans. But
Yeah.
who else from the colony? Because if we see their doppelganger, then we know they're definitely a Suliban.
How many colonists have we run across?
You've gathered the impression that there's maybe a dozen around here, but the only ones you've actually seen are Governor Nichols and Major Cole.
They've mentioned a few, but there's a lot more Tandarans here than anything else.
Or Novans, you mean?
Novans, yeah. Sorry, I'm still algae headed right now.
Get some antihistamines.
I've
Look, there's a lot of ways this situation could explode out of control. I think having as many options on the table, including if things go bad with the Tandarans, a false positive to at least give them something to deal with. We've got 1 hour before we have to make any kind of moves. You know, so
do
if
we know when the captain's coming back?
no, but any elapsed time is closer to the captain getting back. That's just hard logic. And I would assume the captain is moving all alacrity to return. So
Yeah, but I mean, technically that's true. But also, if we can only stall for an hour and the captain's going to be here in a week,
that's true.
no amount of stalling's going to help us.
We don't know that though.
We don't worry about when the captain's going to get here. Okay, we need to solve
we're
this
on our
problem
own.
on the ground ourselves.
And
So we'll try to distract some of the Tendarans with finding their ship. We'll confirm to them that we've had some contact with Suliban in this area and they were beamed away, so there must be a ship here. So presumably the Tendarans have better sensors than our little shuttle pods and have had better time locating ships. They can go hunt that ship. In the meantime, I might end up having to have a discussion with Governor Nichols, who I don't know whether
fake
it's a
one or the real
Suliban or
one?
not.
Because we have the real one.
See, that's the kind of information I need to know.
Right.
Right.
And
yeah,
I think that's our cachet of missing colonists. So if you could forward the data on them, we can tell the Tandarans, let us identify stealthily first who we think are probable Tandarans, and then we can start getting ready for a medical clearance. Because look, if we don't work with them, they have vast numbers. They're going to come in. They're going to seize control.
yeah,
They may not worry about collateral damage at that point, and we've
they
got
certainly won't.
so
We need to give them something. Because they can simply do what they want, and they're only talking to us as a courtesy.
Perhaps
Tensions with her, I don't believe. Not if they're in a 10-year war. You know, having another diplomatic crisis is why this guy is playing fair at least proposing to play fair.
Yeah.
That would be my take on the situation.
I don't know. I'm not ready for this. She says with almost like a depreciating chuckle.
Yeah, but I
Yeah, I don't think any of us are.
came
Okay.
up with the
But
idea of the allergen, and that's brilliant.
Lambeth has told me already that I actually can't have more. He's pretty much my blood is stuffed with antihistamines right now.
That's good to know.
But Lieutenant, sir, just on general principle, they don't have any rights to do any of this, even if they are Suliban.
No, you're right, they don't. Except one very crucial right that they do have, and that's the right of all their particle weapons.
Yeah, that's the big one.
And
Yeah.
and
Okay.
I
and they-
agree they have absolutely no legal right to be doing this, and so that's why
Maybe just
that's
Yeah,
why
I
we're
learned
going to
a
need
long
to do
time
some
ago.
things ourselves.
Yeah, I learned a long time ago that laws don't mean much in places like this.
we're on the frontier.
Sure.
We've got to make a call. And
maybe then sure.
That's
Maybe
why we don't. First off, we know there are Suliban inside the colony. That is a fact. So, but I don't want to allow the Tendarans to perform this. They can have observers. We'll have Dr. Lambeth do something with the fungus.
and we just take
Yeah, I
our
think
damn
we've
time.
got two goals here, and I think it's best we keep them separate. We want
And we
to
just take our damn time
stall
then?
and deal with the Tandarans, and we want to test for Suliban and figure out if this entire colony is Suliban or if they've just infiltrated most of the group.
They
And we
certainly, if
But
they've
we don't
had
have
Major
to-
Cole and Governor Nichols, then you can assume most of the leadership are Suliban.
But we don't have to find that stuff out with the Tandarans watching us. We can send them off on some wild goose chase somewhere else.
Maybe they can make a perimeter check elsewhere, and we can have the Terra Novans help a little bit. I don't.
Or we should say we've got a lead on their ship and send them some false signals and go scout around there for a while.
I would
Not
be
a bad
careful
idea.
signals, because the moment they identify that, whatever trust we have with the Tandarans is gone. Look, they want that ship to not be on this planet and not be a threat to them. They are at war with one another. We just step out of the way and let them find the ship. That's going to take them a little time.
Or it might make them more greedy. They have now Cassius Belly to go looking even deeper without our permission.
Well, the next choice for the Tandarans is, oh well, Starfleet's not going to play ball with us in any format, so we're just going to come in and do what we want. And then they're calling the shots because they have more guns.
I mean,
As-
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to be rude or anything to Starfleet, but you are kind of known for bureaucracy to an extent, right? So maybe we can just play into that. I mean, then they'll be expecting us to spew a bunch of bullshit at them, and let's just do that while the rest of us work behind the scenes. I mean, if I can get this done, maybe we could even get them all checked out within the hour, and we don't even have to ask the $10 at all.
The question is, what do we do with the solar bond when they are discovered?
Speaking of, you notice that there is some activity near the edge of the town. Some people that have broken cover and are starting to approach your way,
Okay,
Lieutenant.
I'm gonna have to end the conversation. We've got townsfolk coming out, and honestly, no idea how many of them we can trust. Get that mushroom fungus and yourselves over here as quickly as you can.
Yes.
Doc, I think I'm getting a rash here.
Oh
Sure
my
these
god!
seem good?
I cut the communication.
Look over at you. That girl needs some.
Ah, I think she just needs more time outside
Something.
to get used to everything.
Less time in a sack.
Okay, well, next complication.
Okay.
By the
Townspeople.
way, you're handling this very well, okay? And you're thinking very clearly. After every move you're... Okay?
Thank you. I have been known for my clarity of thought during my assessments in the Imperial Guard. They said Shera has got good clarity of thought and definitely doesn't use her Ushan Tor far too much.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You don't realize it, but the Ushan Tor is reflexively in your hands right now.
Oh, oops. I'll put that away.
Yep. So,
I'll put the phase pistol away too. Reflex. Sorry.
No problem. We don't want to escalate anywhere.
No.
yep. So the group of townspeople approach. Lieutenant, the governor needed to speak with you as soon as possible.
Yes. Where is he?
He's back in the main settlement.
He's not coming out here to.
With the new set of invaders here, he wasn't sure it was secure.
Well,
He's back at the main
good
meeting
news
hall.
is that the new set of invaders, the Tandarans, don't want to harm any of the colonists.
They look amongst themselves. Good.
Good.
Yes.
Then you can come with us, and you can tell them that, and we can work out something peaceful here.
Well,
However, they do want to perform some medical checks.
I'm watching how this guy reacts.
Insight and security.
Okay.
And that'll be...
Okay. Insight and security. And since he's a buddy and friendly, I'm gonna get close to him. You know, not too close.
Okay.
What do you want? Insight
And security, and it will be contested against their control and command.
Wow. Okay. You guys want me to spend a momentum?
Sure.
Oh yeah,
You got
we got momentum. We got tons of momentum. You do it.
Yep.
Okay. And as she's doing this, she just concentrates on her breathing.
Ooh, nice. Good.
Oh,
Well, that
damn.
earns you back the momentum, so
Hey.
there is an unmistakable moment, Romanov, where you see this person stiffen at the mention of medical tests. Well,
Okay.
I don't know how the governor's going to feel about that, but perhaps you should explain that to him so that he can be set at ease, and so the rest of us can also be at ease.
Absolutely. And you know, we could also just open up a secure communication line. Because, you know, we got some people out in the field, but that would really be my commanding officer's call. I'd look for it, Shera.
They look to you. Well, we are out in the middle of a field where the Tandarans could be attempting to monitor communications. I believe in-person communication is...
I've got that covered. I'm good at communications. They won't get past my stuff. Don't worry about it.
The request from the governor was very specific, Lieutenant.
We're in a liquid situation, aren't we? you know, you got to be flexible.
Our hippie chief engineer.
The-
Relax.
the
Yes.
town's
This
first-
glacier is definitely moving. So we need to watch our step.
Chill out, man.
Yeah. The townsperson is just going to ignore Romanov's last statement.
No, I was really directed at Eula.
Oh,
I'm just standing right by him in case he moves.
Lieutenant?
Yeah, the governor can come out to meet us then.
This area's secure.
We've secured the peace with Tindarans for now. They're not going to do anything.
And we want to present a united front.
Okay, time to... Let's see here. I am going to give them one small roll here.
Once. Ill.
They look amongst themselves. We will see if the governor can come out this way, although he may still signal and request your presence.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
they go back towards the village, or the settlement.
And hey, I'm just going to put my hand on his shoulder and go, we really appreciate that you came out and met us. And I'm just going to see how he reacts when I just, camaraderie gesture.
Well, given that he was turning his back on you when you did this, there's going to be something of a sharp look back your way.
Sure, arm off. Oops.
And that was on his, that was just right on his clothed surface.
Well, I would appreciate you letting go there.
Oh, yeah, it was just a quick tap. We're all buddies.
So they get on the move back.
Shooting is so much easier. I say once they've got out of hearing range.
Yeah, I bet.
It's just a lot easier when people are just shooting at you. You can just shoot back and no problems. Was that a colonist? Was that a Sulavon? Who knows? We don't know. Was the Tendaran a Sulavon, and they're just trying to really screw around with everything going on here? Who knows? Is there a Sulavon standing right next to us, and they just happen to be invisible?
Right.
What's up?
You just hear someone shout, "Oh shit!" and run.
Inexplicable dust trail just pops up.
You just hear, "Oh no, I've been made."
We're doing the one thing we can do, which is buy a little time. And
Buying time.
Buying time. That's what we're doing. I'm really suspicious that guy's Azul. I'm betting he's going to be one of the duplicates, but who knows? He got very...
The entire settlement could be duplicates.
Well,
yeah, it's possible.
A few minutes pass by as you speculate on this when your communicator chirps again. Ooh.
Open communicator, Lieutenant Shera.
Lieutenant, this is Governor Nichols. I understand that you have had a meeting with the Tendarans. Would you be able to come and brief me on this matter?
I was rather hoping you'd step outside to be briefed.
Oh, I'm afraid I can't do that. I must coordinate the colony's defenses in the absence of Major Cole. I am not looking forward to the idea of possible conflict, but I could very much use some sort of good news.
Well, good news is they have no wishes to conquer the planet or do anything that will harm the colonists here. They just want to conduct some medical tests.
Am I to understand that you are sanctioning these Tandarans?
I have sanctioned absolutely nothing. Frankly, it's not within my power to do so. But
Well, as the senior most official from representing United Earth, I must ask that you and your any remaining security contingent you have come back here immediately in order to help us strengthen the colony's defenses. I am not going to let anyone from Earth be subjected to some spurious medical testing done by a suspect group that has invaded our planet and is taking advantage of our moment of weakness.
yes, I agree. That's pertinent. That's good. They do have the colony vastly outnumbered. I will give you my tactical assessment, both as the armory officer of the SS Aegis and as a seasoned Andorian Imperial Guard officer. A defense against that number of Tandarans won't go well.
But we have to try. There are people here. There are lives at stake.
What? I agree. That's why I'm looking at perhaps having our Dr. Lambeth perform any medical tests. That way we'll know that these tests are conducted within the bounds of United Earth law.
Is your doctor here? Can you put him on the line?
He'll be here. He'll be here soon. I believe he's.
Is he not with you?
He was being used as a hostage by the who is it? The Novans, I believe. But I think they've struck up a reasonable rapport, so he might be fine.
There's an audible sigh from the other end. Damn it! Do you understand what's at stake here?
What is it? What is at stake here, Governor?
The lives of every one on this colony, of all the innocents here that we need to try and save.
Governor?
I wish you would just.
Governor, can you be honest with me for a moment?
It's a long, audible pause. I'm not going to have
really
this conversation
honest.
over a communicator.
Fine. If you want, okay. If you want face to face, do it face to face.
You're just trying to start a fight now so you can shoot them without feeling
I'm
bad.
not trying to start.
It sounds like you're trying to start a fight.
I am trying to do diplomacy. I am not good at diplomacy.
Did anyone else notice that he didn't say human once?
I noticed, yes.
Could have easily said, "Oh well, he's busy dealing with injured at the moment."
Fine. So if you want to meet face to face, I will meet face to face, but just with you alone. And it will be at the edge of the colony.
Inside one of the buildings.
Inside one of the buildings, then.
Alright.
But I don't want to see any other colonists near it.
Very well.
I don't want any of them to be near it.
So, I will accept.
Okay. Be there in 5 minutes, then.
He just nods and.
Well,
or rather, you could imagine him nodding. He verbally assents and closes the line.
Right.
Well played, Eula. Well played. And I've got a move for you.
I'm having so many shots of ale when I get back to the Aegis.
We both will. We both will. But
Yes.
I have a proposal.
Okay.
Okay, so when you meet with him here,
Mhm.
I was just, and GM, hopefully you got my DM message. We could have the Tandarans just grab onto him with a transporter and take him. Say, we know he's a Sula. Get him now.
Are you?
And and that would be a really good gesture to the. We know that this guy has intent to turn this into a battlefield. So you are acting to protect. This is just a proposal. It takes one more chess piece off the chessboard. And that creates a little bit of a problem. Or we mark him at that point. I might be able to digitally mark him. And then we can remove him when appropriate. Because we don't want to freak everybody else out or any of his Suliban lieutenants.
Let's just give them a guy to torture, and that'll delay things.
Thank you, voice of internal voice of Colonel Sharpe.
Yeah.
You're doing swell.
Okay,
Just
I think
double thumbs up.
I don't know. I'm just getting the impression that that there's something more going on than Suliban taking over a random Earth. I mean, let's be honest. Their tactics are to if they want to infiltrate United Earth, they are not going to start off with a stupid backwater colony on a world which is frankly too warm.
That is correct.
They'll try to infiltrate a ship. They'll try to infiltrate Earth's level of governments, all that kind of thing. They won't try this. Look at it. It's a bunch of sheds.
So the underlying assumption there is that either these Suliban aren't involved with the Cabal, or because the Tandarans are here, this location would allow them some kind of tactical advantage against the Tandaran. Those seem to be the only big option, you know.
Can I recall what the rough spatial boundaries are, where the Tandarans are, where Terra Nova is, and whether it could possibly provide any kind of tactical advantage, or is it like really some distance away from
It's super
Tandaran
far
space?
from their usual space.
This is
This isn't a tactical location.
This isn't a staging ground. This is I don't know what this is, but they are also taking and kidnapping people and replacing people from this colony.
Correct.
So
we don't.
That's not exactly actions of good friends either. So
That's correct. If they were here to, say, hide out, they might very well appeal to us, but they have not done that. So I say we take the meeting. Maybe I can figure out a way to mark him if necessary. We don't have to disclose that. And we see what is the next layer below this.
Alright.
okay, let's do the meet. Hold on. I take up comms and signal. Sergeant Hawkins. Yeah. Sergeant, we're going to be having a little meeting with the supposed governor. Stay in position. If we do not return, you're to fall back and meet up with Dr. Lambeth, who'll soon command the away mission. And if we do come back, we'll also make ourselves. We'll confirm our identities to you.
Acknowledged.
Right.
And so
Will that be a fun surprise for Dr. Lambeth?
you say this as you ponder the the vastly more complicated situation that you found yourself thrust into, Lieutenant, and you further contemplate that of all the times you brought out your Ushantor, the one unfortunate security officer, Laga Jashilk, was probably the wrong person to have done it again back in the day. And for more story on that and for what is to unfold next, we will ask everybody to check out next time on our next session of Star Trek Adventures Aegis. For those watching in the archive, I hope you enjoyed, and we will catch you next week. Till then, you have a good day. Be sure also, if you want to catch the other show, we have Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword coming back this Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For those of you wondering where to find this, the Twitch channel will be in the video description, so please give that channel a follow and let us know what you thought. But till then, have a good week.